Hey there, it's Marty Fraser again from Stone Success Realty. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about flipping houses. We all know that flipping houses can be an exciting phenomenon. The HGTV effect and a lot of the home renovation shows have got us very excited about renovating our home or possibly flipping houses. So what I want to go through in today's presentation is more about the financial components that somebody may not necessarily have considered that a flipper needs to consider when they acquire and then eventually sell the home. So there's a number of repairs that need to go into, but there's also a number of other carrying costs that one needs to consider when flipping homes. So the first thing is once we've found a suitable property, there's likely going to be costs associated with the home inspection. From there, we'll put an offer in on a place, and there's going to be some sort of a deposit that needs to be put on that offer that will be credited towards the final purchase price. Once the deal's gone through, then on closing date, we're going to encounter a few different costs. One's going to be the lawyer, and that will also have HST associated with that. There's also the Ontario land transfer taxes, which again, depending on the purchase price, will vary, but that's a cost, again, that a buyer will need to consider. Then what a buyer needs to consider is looking at the way they finance the property. Traditionally, you don't want to have a mortgage other than maybe an open mortgage, which is only good for a shorter period of time. That'll often come with a higher interest rate. Really what a flipper is hoping for is to find some sort of private money where they're only going to have to pay interest only and then can credit back all the principal that they use to acquire the house once the property is sold. So something else that they need to arrange again is that financing, and trying to find the best financial package or person to help them will benefit in the profit loss in the end of the day. The other thing that somebody needs to consider now is once they've got the property, there may be some demolition. They may need a bin on the garage or on the driveway that will need to get filled up. There may be a cost associated with that. Other ongoing monthly costs that a buyer will need to consider is the property tax. There's also going to be home insurance. Then we have to consider the utilities like the water, the natural gas, the hydro. There might be a hot water tank rental that will also be part of what the ongoing monthly costs will be. Then we're going to have the building materials. So whether they be new drywall, flooring, whether they be trim, you may have some electrical light fixtures, you might need to bring in a plumber, you might need to buy a toilet, things like that. And that would have all been budgeted for up front, and you're going to consider those things, but needs to be part of how things get evaluated when looking at a flip. One also needs to consider or count in their labor. Everyone does it a little bit different with their labor, but that is something too that should be worked into the financial plan. Another thing, somebody should consider contingencies. With any flip or any renovation, something's always bound to come up, so it's best to leave a little bit of a percentage associated with some contingencies that one may not necessarily have planned for. Depending on the house and how you want to present it, you may need to buy some appliances for the house. More often than not, vacant properties sometimes need to be staged, and there would need to be some staging associated with that, or maybe you're just going to sell it vacant. From there, we then need to consider the realtor's commission when that comes in once the property has been sold. And then lastly, there's going to be the lawyer fee again when we've sold the property. So hopefully that's a good exhaustive list for one to take note of and say, yes, it's more than just, the building materials and the labors. There are some other things that I need to consider when flipping homes, because it's not always an easy exercise. First, you need to have the patience to find suitable properties. You then need to have the dollars and the low-cost dollars or the lower interest rate to then fix them up. And then you need to be connected with someone with the market knowledge to help you sell them to get the top dollar for the property. So these are my thoughts. My contact information is on the screen. I'd love for you to comment and/or subscribe to my YouTube channel.